It's Christmas time on planet Earth, and I love it. The way we decorate our homes, it's cozy. You have a nice fireplace. Most people don't, but it feels cozy to think about it, right? You have it in the movies. People are kinder to each other. You have Christmas markets, mulled wine, and lots of German traditions without thinking about the stuff that Germans have done. Beautiful time of the year. Why don't you make your mind this same cozy, beautiful place? Why don't you make your mind feel the same way? A beautiful, wonderful, cozy place to be, where you feel at home, where you feel okay with who you are, okay with the way the world is. Well, imagine that you're in this beautiful, cozy room, fireplace, and stockings or a Christmas tree. Everything is snow covered outside. You look outside the window. Doesn't the world look a lot nicer? Beautiful, isn't it? But maybe the world is always that beautiful. It could be that way all year round. It could feel in your own mind that way all year round, every day. A cozy, welcoming feel. Most people have made their minds into some kind of enemies. Oh, you're not good enough. Oh, no, no, no. You messed up. You idiot. Ah, you can't do that. The other people can. You can't. Oh, nice try, but you're not good looking enough for that. You're not smart enough for that. You're not intelligent and brilliant enough for that. Oh, there are geniuses out there, but you certainly aren't. Oh, remember what you did in third grade? The whole world remembers what you did in third grade. So your mind doesn't feel that cozy, does it? Doesn't feel like a warm and welcoming place. Your mind is mean to you. It, it's like having a roommate. Your mind is not this cozy, beautiful place. It's more like a messy dorm room, a messy shared flat, a shared apartment with lots of messy roommates, with people who bully you, criticize you. It's like the worst living arrangement in the world, and that's your mind. But you can't leave it. You are in this terrible living situation for the rest of your life. Your mind doesn't feel like that cozy place. It's that messy flat share, that messy apartment share, and you can't leave. What is that crazy flat share of people bullying you and criticizing you in your own head? Who is that? Is it not other people's voices and criticisms and rejection and stories of how you're not good enough that you've internalized? The people who told you those stories are long gone. Maybe they're still in your lives, but maybe they might not even be telling the story anymore. Or it's from ancestors. It's hundreds of years of conditioning. They're all gone. Or even if your parent or someone who gave you those stories is still with you, they're not with you right now. Are they in the room watching with you? I hope not. They're not there, right? But the voice keeps going. The same voices that criticized you are still in your own mind, but now they have your voice. And you believe it. You think that's you. Now you're doing their job for them. Now you're criticizing yourself. Now you're rejecting yourself. Now you're belittling yourself. And you think that's you. But it's not you. It's other people's voices that you've done a great job of impersonating because it sounds like you, right? That voice in your head sounds like you. Has your voice, has your tonality does a great job at impersonating you. And what they say seems to be really true. Oh, you're not good enough. Must be true. You've heard it all your life. Maybe first from other people. Now you're telling it yourself. Must be true, right? But what if it's just a story that others have told you and you keep repeating? Although they're no longer there, you're doing their job for them. You're doing the criticizing and rejecting. You're the constantly belittling and criticizing yourself. You let someone else live there rent free. People people use the term someone else lives in your mind rent free. They don't quite know what it means. It usually refers to, oh well, someone upset you or said something about you and you keep going on about that, and someone then you say, well, that person lives in your mind rent free. That's not what it means. Well, of course, to a certain extent, that's what it means, but really, the thing you call you, the story of you, the whole belittling and criticizing and this whole story, that is living in other people, living in your mind rent free. It's still your parents, your teachers, generations past you. They're all still living in your mind rent free. And that those rent free people are upset about the other rent-free people if someone upsets you, eh? All of them are living in your mind rent-free. None of them belongs there. And they all decorated your space. They all put furniture there. They hung up their paintings. They painted the place. They hung up their pictures. They made themselves comfortable there. And they decide what you're going to watch. All right, let's put on the TV. And they determine what programming you run in your own mind. So what's Christmas? It's a birth of something, isn't it? Let it be the birth of a new story, of a new place, of a new you. It's not you, it's always been there. It's always been there. You don't make yourself new. If people talk about making themselves new, what they're talking about is that messy flat chair. And within that flat chair, I'm going to change myself so I conform to those voices. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking the birth of something new. That ironically, of course, has always been there. The you that just loves and accepts themselves the way you are. You came like this into the world. Everyone else just moved in there later. Everyone else just added their story to you. All the other people just ran through your cozy cabin and the flat chair afterwards and decorated the place. But who you are, you started out as loving and accepting. And don't try fixing yourself because that's just part of the what other people living in that rent-free place you call your mind want you to do. And they will never be happy. Step out of it. Leave the whole flat chair. And let Christmas, let this new year be the birth of something new. Not the whole new you, new me stuff that humans talk about. You're just taking new stuff into that flat share. You're taking the whole flat share with you. You're taking your whole mind with you. All these conditionings, all these beliefs, all these I'm not good enough, I don't belong here, I can't, all of these things. You take them with you. And they make a New Year's resolution. And then carry all that stuff with you into the new year. And they say, well, this new year looks pretty much like the old year. Nothing has changed. It's still the old me. It's just the old me still trying to get better, trying to change, trying to please the people in the flat share that are the voices of my parents and ancestors that told me I'm not good enough, that I carry with me, and that I think are me because they perfectly impersonate the voice in my head. And I think the voice in my head is me. Well, yeah, it's not a new year. And it's not very Christmassy either. Christmas is the recognition and the birth of the you that you've always been, that doesn't need fixing, that doesn't need improving, that has never heard these voices. Or now you can hear them, but it knows it's just a story. And then your whole mind will feel cozy and welcoming, just like the world does at Christmas time. Just as hopeful as it does at New Year, fresh and new. Because there's no judgment of who you are. It's just acceptance and love for who you've become at every stage of your being. And it feels wonderful to be you. It feels cozy. It feels welcoming. And then you look at yourself as something to be loved and appreciated, where you look at yourself like, oh, wow, I wonder what I will turn into. Can't wait to see it. You look at other people and you can see that same love and acceptance for them. You look out in the world and oh, the whole world looks a lot more beautiful, doesn't it? And you recognize life was never that hard. It was never as ugly and terrible as the story your mind told you about it. Life was never as terrible as the story you made out. You were never that terrible either. And you realize you are beautiful and life is beautiful. And other people are beautiful. Not because something has changed, but because something new has been born in you. It's not been born, it's always been there. But the story that covered it up, all these stories in your mind, the criticisms, the voices, you just brush them aside and you can see the birth of something new. Now that is Christmas. And then you can sit down for family dinner and you enjoy the whole place a lot more. Because some of the people at that table gave you the voices that you think you are. But once you realize you can look at them, you don't feel resentment, you feel love. Because they did the best they could. And other people at the unreasonable uncle, you can look at him and realize he's doing the best he can, and he is also captive to that same story that criticizes and bullies him. He has to live with that. And he acts according to that story, still pleasing. He's still pleasing the messy roommates in his mind. And he's tortured by them. And if he's unkind to you or criticizing you, it's just because he's living in a terrible apartment. His mind is not a good place to be, and he wants to escape. And he's captive there, he can't get out of it. Will you not show a lot more compassion to all those people? Now it's a lot more Christmassy now, isn't it? Merry Christmas.